So welcome to my 4th English YouTube video on Jujutsu Kaisen manga series. In this video, we're gonna reach the peak of the greatest fight in Jujutsu Kaisen manga. This is the final part of Gojo vs Sukuna fight. The first section of this video is going to be the explanation of the fight, and the second half of the video is going to be very emotional. So this video is a mixture of excitement and emotion. And make sure to not miss the video because this is just a banger. Manga chapters explained in this video are now shown in the screen, and without further ado, let's get started. At the last part of the previous video, we saw that Sukuna summoned merged beast Agito and made the fight 3v1. Now all three of them, Sukuna, Mahoraga and Agito, simultaneously attack Gojo Satoru. One from left, one from right, one from behind, and just watch this action manga panels and enjoy the fight. Despite all of this and doing a 3v1 battle, Gojo still manages to create a red technique and blows it in front of Mahoraga. Here Gojo says, "It's not having much effect and not just because my output's low. I only hit it with red once, so maybe Mahoraga's adaptation is not all or nothing but happens step by step. That leaves only one way to erase Mahoraga in a single blow. It takes so much time and Sukuna is also aware of it. That's why he keeps attacking instead of adapting to red. But I have no other choices left. I have to finish off this fight with unlimited hollow, aka hollow purple." In the next chapter, we see Jujutsu gang having a great conflict. Yuta saying that he wants to join the fight between Gojo and Sukuna, but Kashimo says, "Wait, come back, don't interfere the fight. If anyone is going next, it's definitely not you." Hakari says, "You need to chill, Okotsu." Kashimo is right in this case. Gojo said he only wants help if he gets weaker than you or me. And Yuta says that depends on the circumstances. Sukuna's domain just got wrecked. Rika and I would be effective at least in front of those two Shinigamis. Here Maki says, "Wait, I am the obvious choice after Gojo. Don't forget your role in this fight. If you die, we lose all our insurance." And here Yuji is advocating Yuta and he says, "If we beat Sukuna right now, we don't need any other insurance, so we should take a chance. Okotsu senpai, just do it right now. You have to do so." And here Kusakabe screams and says, "Wait, what the fuck are y'all saying?" Mei says, "Just listen, they both need something different for victory. Gojo just needs to beat Sukuna because the rest of us can probably handle Kenjaku. But even if Sukuna beats Gojo, he still has to immediately fight us." Hakari says he's definitely holding back a killer move, and if we go out, he might unleash it right away. Yuta here says, "So we should stay here doing nothing?" And Kusakabe says, "That's right. The monster Uraume is on standby too. Sukuna can't afford to unload everything he has, but Gojo can fight without any obstacle. And this is our best chance to success." Here Kashimo says, "Are all of this era sorcerers this clueless? You're missing the point. After all, this fight is for Gojo Satoru's sake. Whatever happens, it would be wrong to interfere." Let's get back to the fight. At this point, Mahoraga and Agito are both attacking Gojo at the same time, and Sukuna is staying behind them, preventing Gojo to use his killer move, Hollow Purple. Agito just cluelessly runs at the face of Gojo, but Gojo grabs his tail and throws him at Mahoraga's face. Gojo says that's Nue with some of great serpent, tiger, funeral, and round deer mixed into. These are all Megumi's 10 shadows Shikigamis that are merged together to make merged beast Agito. The key of this Shinigami is round deer's regeneration. It hasn't adapted to limitless curse technique, but the condition for me to win is to destroy them with one punch, just like for Mahoraga. At this time, Mahoraga attacks Gojo with his sword. Gojo dies and Mahoraga just pierces the ground, and this creates an opportunity for Gojo to run out of that indoor environment. Gojo here says, "You're repeating yourself. The thing I have to keep in mind is that I can't let Sukuna heal. I need to prioritize destroying Agito." Sukuna is also analyzing the fight and thinking what is going to happen. He says, "This is fine for now, as long as I don't let him use purple. When purple really cuts loose, its output is over 120% with some kind of binding vow. However, at the previous time, I got away with just losing 2 reinforced hands when taking a direct hit at just under 4 kilometers. We are both far from our full strength, and if he lands a hit with purple at this distance at even just 100%, it would be so dangerous." "You damn Mahoraga. Mahoraga. How long you're gonna make me wait? That is not what I wanna see from you. Fuck Megumi Fushiguro. You're now only my shadow. Just show me what you got. And boom! Mahoraga manages to cut Gojo's right arm. Actually, it seems like Sukuna's motivational speak is working on him. And everyone in Jujutsu is just shocked by what just happened. They say Mahoraga with a slashing attack at this time when Gojo has lost an arm. Sukuna also goes forward to finally defeat Gojo in a 3v1. But Gojo still manages to escape from 3 of them, even after losing an arm. And this moment, this single manga panel makes you believe like Gojo is the real villain. Gojo here looks directly at Agito's soul and says, this whole time you haven't been able to keep up like others. Bro is just toying with the soul of his opponent. And here he grabs his left hand and performs a maximum output blue technique and absorbs the entire merged beast Agito Shikigami into his blue. Just look at this manga panel. It's just, I cannot explain how good it is with words. 41 seconds from now, for the second time, Gojo Satoru's hollow purple will cut through Shinjuku district. After Gojo regrowing his right arm with the second black flash, his voltage instantly ramps up. And for the first time in 1000 years, Sukuna, the almighty king of curses, felt fear. And here Gojo speeds up the fight with throwing Mahoraga, making the fight 2v1 again. He just grabs Sukuna's hand, throws him into Mahoraga, and then punches both of them to break the windows of a building and throw them into it. Meanwhile, he's going to make a red once again. The occurrence of cursed energy is when it wells forth from a sorcerer immediately before they activate a cursed technique. This part is very important, listen carefully. It decides the destination of the fight. It directly precedes activation of a major technique like domain expansion or a can't miss attack. Despite having efficiency in his cursed energy, Gojo is not different in this case, especially not when using hollow purple. Sukuna determined from the cursed chant and scale of cursed energy that the occurrence to follow would be cursed technique reversal red. The point is Sukuna is just thinking he's doing another red technique just like the previous ones, but this one is very different. Despite his determination was not wrong, but it was incomplete. And here Sukuna thinks with himself and says, I'll defend with Mahoraga and adapt to it immediately. But the point is, the red technique's target this time was not Mahoraga, neither Sukuna. Its target was to merge with the blue that Gojo previously created. And what you're thinking about is correct. The objective is to do another hollow purple. Gojo intends to finish off this fight with a technique that he just started it. Here's Sukuna, after understanding that Gojo is pointing at the sky, not himself or Mahoraga, he understands that he's in a serious danger. And here's where Sukuna screams, Mahoraga, help! At this time, Mahoraga runs at his full speed and pierces the building to reach the red that is just created by Gojo. Hollow purple causes blue and red to collide and thrusts forward, resulting in an enormous virtual mass. Gojo released red, but just past it was blue, which had remained after crushing Agito. Like the red that swung around the government offices to approach Sukuna from behind, the red about to explode has no speed. Having adapted and gained the ability to eliminate it without fail, Mahoraga had orders to reach blue first before blocking a collision with red. Even as Mahoraga judged that its actions would be successful, Gojo used the attraction of blue to move at high speed between blue and Mahoraga. Actually, the blue is the technique that absorbs everything around the space of it. Without any chance to choose a target for their cursed technique, Mahoraga had adapted to blue, and that means blue's attraction is not working on Mahoraga anymore. In other words, Gojo just used Mahoraga's adaptation in his own advantage. This is called brilliant battle IQ. Immediately before merging with blue, Sukuna uses piercing blood technique to trigger red and cause it to explode right away. Sukuna smashes the trigger. The blood goes toward the red, but the thing is, the blue attracts the blood pierced by Sukuna. In In this time, Gojo chants the words for blue within the condensed time. Phase, twilight, eyes of wisdom. Having regained output though to an area following the chant, blue swallows Sukuna's piercing blood. And here we go for the majestic hollow purple, the final fatal blow. This time Yuta says, Kusakabe sensei, you were right. He couldn't have done this hollow purple if I was around. And I want to tell you the chant of hollow purple in Japanese right now. This is probably the greatest moment of Jujutsu Kaisen manga. Kuko, Henko, Karas to Shomyo, Hyori no Hazama, Kyoshiki, Murasaki. Gojo just turns the entire Shinjuku district into dust, leaving Sukuna standing on his knees, totally injured and unable to use Ten Shadows technique again. Gojo says, if I don't direct unrestricted purple, it hits me too, but I've suffered less damage. Maybe because it's just my own cursed energy. So the purple at a distance also worked. Kusakabe and Jujutsu gang say Gojo has regained output for reverse curse technique thanks to Black Flash, while Sukuna can't heal rapidly, lost Mahoraga, and has sustained enough damage that he can't even fight empty-handed with amplification. And that means, yeah, Gojo won. After this, I finished the action part of this video, and the next section of this video will have a totally different mood. And this part has the potential to break your heart from inside. In the next chapter, we see Gojo Satoru in a dream, where he can finally meet his old best friend Geto Suguru. And as always, with that intimate accent, Geto says, "Yo, Satoru." And Gojo here says, "What the fuck? You're kidding me, this sucks. You being the first person I see in my dream." And Geto says, "Just shut up." Pretty rude thing to say right after seeing someone's face. Yeah, that's how boys show their love to each other. Gojo says, "I've always told my students, when you die, you'll be alone. So I beg you to tell me this is just some ridiculous dream." And Geto says, "Does it even matter?" And Gojo says, "No shit." And there's stuff with his dad. He means Megumi's dad, the guy without any ounce of cursed energy, Zenin Toji. But I guess I asked Shoko to handle that. Geto asks, "How was the king of curses?" And Gojo says, "Don't ask. He was insanely strong, by the way. And he wasn't even using his full power. Honestly, I don't think I would have won even if he didn't have Megumi's 10 shadows. But still, I kind of feel sorry for him. I'm not estranged to the feeling of being isolated. I know the strength and the solitude it brings more than anyone. I always knew that there was always a gulf between me and other people, even if they adored me. The thing is, you can admire a blooming flower, but you can't ask it to understand you. I put everything I had into trying to reach him, to make him understand. All the physical trainings I passed, all the techniques I mastered, my explosiveness, quick thinking, and my battle IQ. I gave it all, but maybe it wasn't enough. The loneliness that comes with unrivaled strength. That's the emotion me and Sukuna can feel better than anyone. But after all, that was fun. Despite Sukuna was not able to go all out, it was a great fight, to be honest." Geto says, well, you're making me too jealous. You at least had the satisfaction of going out with a bang. Gojo says, "You say satisfaction, huh? I guess my only disappointment is that you weren't there to give me a slap on the back. But at the end, I'm glad I died facing a strong opponent. It would be very embarrassing if I let some disease or old age get the best of me." And here it comes, two other friends of Gojo Satoru. Here we have Nanami and Haibara. And Nanami says, "Seriously, you should know it's poor taste to think like that in the present. Then again, that mindset of yours is probably why you outlived me." And Gojo says, "What the fuck?" Haibara says, "Hey Nanami, you and Gojo-san just miscalculated a bit. I remember once that I asked Geto-san, why can't we just leave it all to you? After all, I can say you never cared about keeping sorcery going or protecting people. You were just in the game because you got a kick out of it. Actually, the truth is that we all thought the same about you, Gojo-san, but we didn't have dared to say it out loud." And Geto says, "Well, about that feeling, it was just proven right by your actions a second ago. And Nanami says, I cannot say I approve, but I do sympathize definitely. It was a fitting way for you to go out. And Gojo says, okay, thank you all for these compliments, and I want to ask, how do you feel about your death? Haibara says, I think I kinda bought it in back then. Nanami says, curses can bring people back to life the same way sorcery can. I once asked Mei about where I should go and live. She said to me, if you'd like to become someone new, go north. If you like to return to your old self, go south. And without a moment of hesitation, I chose going to south. I've always been someone who loves looking to the past, so I found it ironic when I died betting on the future. As final moments go, it wasn't too bad, so I'm grateful to you, Haibara. And Haibara says, wow, you're too kind. And Gojo says, I see. Here we have Gojo Satoru's master, Principal Yaga. Gojo says, hey, Principal, thought you said no sorcerer dies without regrets. It seems like I'm the first one to do so. Now I'm hoping that this is not a dream. Actually, at this part, I want to discuss about the fact about Gojo Satoru's loneliness. Gojo was the guy who was born with magnificent talent. He had the 6 eyes and the limitless curse technique. He was the ace of Gojo clan and probably their best Jujutsu sorcerer ever. With not too much effort, he managed to become the greatest sorcerer of modern era. He was appreciated and praised by everyone, but the thing is, none of the appreciations were actually real. He reached the peak of Jujutsu society with very low effort because of his talent. It seems like it's a very great thing to have, and actually what can be better than this? But the thing is, being the strongest has huge consequences that you have to face. Every person, when they were around Gojo, they appreciated him, they praised him, they told him that he was the greatest, he was a prodigy. But deep down, they hated him because Gojo was just an untouchable Jujutsu sorcerer. They knew that it doesn't matter how much time they train, how much they suffer, how much they work hard actually, they will not get near to his level. And when people cannot level with someone's strength, they try to eliminate him. And that is exactly what happened to Gojo. Gojo was born as a talented, perfect guy. A guy expected to be the best and strongest sorcerer in the modern era. And that causes everyone to expect him to always be the hero, to always save everyone, to always act perfect, but that is impossible for any human being. Despite Gojo saving every single person, but when Gojo himself needed a help, literally no one was around to help him. Not even a person wanting to help him. And as I said before, when people see that they cannot level your strength, they just try their best to eliminate you. That means being the strongest caused the people to even become happy of Gojo's downfall. If you remember in Shibuya incident, when Gojo faced his first actual defeat as a Jujutsu sorcerer, what happened? Everyone turned back against him. Even the Jujutsu society. They were the same guys that Gojo always wiped their ass when they messed up at something. But even considering that, they did not try to help. They did not try to save Gojo. They actually did their absolute best to eliminate him from Jujutsu society. And that is truly heartbreaking, by the way. That is the price you pay for being the strongest. That was the concept of solitude in Gojo's mind. And yeah, we see that Gojo has lost the fight. Sukuna just cutted Gojo's body into 2 halves. Mahoraga's adaptation can start after only a single attack. Then it slowly starts to analyze, and its completion is only a matter of time. If it receives another identical attack during the calculation period, the process of adaptation accelerates. Once a technique is adapted to, the analysis doesn't stop there. It continues to adapt further. Sukuna says, what I wanted from Mahoraga was a model of how to tear through your limitless. After the first adaptation, Mahoraga was altering the essence of its own cursed energy in order to neutralize and nullify your limitless. That was something I was unable to do, so I waited. I waited for it to discover another adaptation to counter your limitless. The second adaptation was exactly what I had been anticipating, but it wasn't sending slashes flyings as I do. It was expanding the technique's target. Its intended target wasn't just you, Gojo Satoru, but the space, the entire world, the existence itself. It targeted literally everything before it unleashed those flashes. Actually, your limitless lost its meaning. As long as it existed within that space, that world, it would be all torn apart. It was nearly an impossible technique to pull off, but that model proved to be quite effective. The technique that Sukuna used to cut through Gojo and actually cut through the entire existence is called World Cutting Slash. And the final sentence of the fight, Sukuna says, "You did well, Gojo Satoru. As long as I'm alive, I will never forget you." That's when Gojo finally dies with a smile. That makes Gojo happy because Sukuna was the only one that could understand the concept of solitude and the feeling of loneliness he had in his entire life. And here it comes. The strongest and the loneliest sorcerer of modern era comes to an end. Rest in peace, Gojo Satoru. You will always be my legend.